question, I would like to turn to you, Naoki, from a research perspective. We see that there is a proliferation of different tools and approaches, which is great, but how to harmonize and ensure that there's learning and possibly comparability for assessment across different types of policies and actions in different countries, so that we could see something like a price also developing to sort of enhance also the co-benefits. But over to you for this question on the harmonization of tools and approaches.
Okay, thank you, Karen. I prepared one slide that is to be shown you. Where is it? Okay. Can you see it? Okay. So what I'm interested in that kind of SD tools is that is mainly focusing on the application, how to apply, how to make use of such an SD tools in a harmonic manner in some sense. Okay, let me take a look at one part. That is a market value creation. I myself used to be involved in CDM from the very beginning, including the development of the first approved methodology. So I'm very much interested in this kind of things. So market value creation, in the case of, for example, voluntary carbon crediting market, for example, the gold standard, that is a kind of carbon crediting. Yes, and in the scope of carbon crediting, we are trying to incorporate such an SD elements of the project into such kind of market value. But another way of thinking I'd like to propose is to consider that's kind of another SD components could be considered as the another attribution of the project or actions. So create several markets for each SD values. Okay, not just carbon market, but also, for example, SD3 market. That is for the health or something like that. For example, the domestic biogas digester program, it has a lot of such kind of the co-benefits or sustainable development benefits. So we can say that such an credit value per each SD goes for some kind of KPIs, key performance indicators for that kind of actions, times the volume of such kind of KPIs. That could be the aggregated value of that project. Okay, so of course, I understand that it's not easy to quantify such kind of the values, but such kind of KPIs. But if not quantified, then 5-tiered evaluation, that would be a good alternative. In the case of CO2, of course, the CO2 equivalent emissions or emission reductions, that is a very good indicator. But for others, it is not so easy. But in any case, such kind of different types of the such values that could be created, and it could be separate from the CO2 related reduction values. So that can be added to, for example, Article 6 activities, or in the case of the gold standard, there are several gold standards. One gold standard is for the CO2, but one of the gold standard is for the, for example, SD3 or something like that. So those kind of way of thinking, in order to do so, such an SD tools could provide a very good insight. But in this case, simplified indicators, that is very important. What are the simplified indicators that are to be used? That's one point. The another thing of way of thinking is that for the project or action design, how to design that action, Of course, the cost-benefit analysis that is needed, including a baseline. So benefit, for example, in this case, includes that kind of SD component. And we have to have some comparison between several alternatives. And we have to design the PDCA cycle elements in the action. So in order to do so, such kind of SD tools that provide such a good indicators to be monitored, that is a very important tool for this design, as well as the operation. So actually, we are interested in the transparency or accountability related aspect, but reporting, such kind of reporting is important, but the implementation of action is much more important, I think. So the PDCA cycle, that is a key, and the key KPIs monitoring, and how to adjust the actions in the next round, or those kind of things. For that purpose, the SD tools that can be used, okay? And also for the communication include within the stakeholders, that's very important as well. Brainstorming, debate, and discussion, those kind of things. For that purpose, SD tools that are good tool to consider. Okay, especially considering the comparison between alternatives. For example, okay, let me take a look at the examples. In order to electrify the rural areas and the off-grid rural areas, we have the option of solar home system, as well as the mini-grid, which is better. Those both are good, but which is better? That's the kind of things. And IGES, improved cookstove, domestic biogas digesters, both are good. But biogas digester is much better in the sense of SD component, but its initial cost is about tenths of the IGES. So we have to start from mainly IGES, and for the richer people, biogas digester needs to be incorporated. Those kind of the designing and also the communication issue, these SD2 could provide such a good way of thinking. So in any case, those are what we are required to consider how to make use of that tool. We have now at least two good tools. So how to make use of that? That's and those are what I personally considers that to be considered in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you for these reflections and this very clear slide to reflect on the different aspects of the application of tools in plural. I see you have, it's still, I think, an outstanding question. Is it, do we want one tool or do we want many tools for different purposes?
At least
we have many tools. And
yes,
maybe let 1,000 flowers bloom, as Christiane Figueres likes to say. I like that saying, and I would probably agree with that. Tools in plural. But